Actually, again, one of the key quotes from Michael Silver was, though it might upset that it's not fair, Kyle Lance has had opportunities to seize the job. He started 2 games as a rookie and made some situational substitutions in the early part of that season, then had an entire offseason, training camp, and preseason as the unquestioned number 1 on the depth chart. Some young quarterbacks will be thrilled to get so many chances. Well, has Lance actually been given so many chances to get the starting job?
That's the thing.
Has he? I mean, he chipped the finger in the last preseason game against the Raiders where Jimmy and Trey were alternating on the first possession. Remember that?
That was
wild. They were
wild.
alternating plays. Trey actually looked better than Jimmy in the preseason game against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Led a 75-yard touchdown drive right before halftime in 45 seconds. I mean, it's preseason, I know, but with the way we cover him, we act like all the practices matter.
Listen.
So has he? So my thing is to 49er fans, 1-888-957-9570, has he been given so many chances to take the starting job? And 2, is he deserving of those chances? He got hurt last year. He was an unquestioned, unequivocal number 1 quarterback and on the depth chart.
And then he got hurt. And then he got his job taken. And now listen, that happens. Like with this whole thing where Mike Silver says, quote, it's not fair, crowd. Life's not fair. We all understand that. But at the same time, we're going to sit here and just praise Brock Purdy because he had a great stretch. I get it. He's played 8 games. He's playing in 8 games. Trey Lance has got 4. That's just double the. Like, come on. Neither of them have played a full season, I think is what people are saying. Like, we can't, go up here and give all this praise to Brock Purdy and say he's the best thing since sliced bread. And at the same time say, you know what, Trey Lance, I think he's done.
Right.
4 games versus 8. Like, at the end of the day, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And I understand, and he deserves to be the leader in the clubhouse. No one's saying he shouldn't be. But all we're saying is, are we really giving up on Trey Lance when we've only seen 4 games and we're anointing Brock Purdy when we've seen 8? I think that's what people are saying. Yeah. And that's where it seems like it's a little like, I'm not cool with that. Yeah. That's where a lot of people are coming from. And I get it.
888-957-9570. What's your thoughts on the quarterback spot here? Thoughts on what John Lynch had to say yesterday as he talked to the media at 9:45. Also, our YouTube poll question of the day. Does Farhan have to make a splash move today at the MLB trading deadline at 1 o'clock Pacific time? Does he have to make a splash? Go ahead and vote yes or no. So far, no. Is 52%. Yes, 48%.
It's about 50-50.
Farhan.
Okay.
So we got a super chat here.
Oh.
From Michael. Michael Alanis. Anyway, if I'm jacking that, I apologize. But Michael spent $9.99. Let's be honest with ourselves. These quarterbacks we currently have are simply placeholders for the quarterback Kyle can finally get his hands on without Daniel Snyder in the way. And that is Kirk Cousins.
That's not my burner, I promise, Bonte. That's not my burner. I agree with them.
Yeah.
Listen, if it's not solved after this season, Kirk Cousins is a great option for Kyle Shanahan next season. But it's about this season right now. Is it Brock Purdy? Is it Trey Lance? Kyle said QB1 right now, it's Brock Purdy. Is anything going to change from now until a few weeks? So it's week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No.
Can anything?
No idea.
You don't even know.
No idea.
And that's a problem, Bonte.
Yeah. Well,
I need to know who my week 1 starter is.
Well, it's going to be Brock Purdy.
Okay.
It's going to be Brock Purdy.
Okay, it's going to be.
It's going to be Brock Purdy. Now, what happens if he struggles in the preseason? What happens if he struggles in training camp, coming back from the torn UCL?
Is he going to play in the preseason?
That's a great question. Doesn't he need reps? Well, John Lynch talked about Trey Lance needing all the reps that he could get. Here's Lynch.
He'll continue to earn these opportunities, and he'll have plenty to show who he is. He can't get enough. There's no doubt about that. But we've got guys who've earned them. And the most important thing, I think back to Brock this time last year, he was only getting about 3-4 a day. He made them count, and when you make them count, you get more. And so I think everybody understands that. We've got a really good group. I like the way that group is progressing and really believe, especially with Brock in the build-up program, there's going to be days where he's not out. There's going to be ample opportunities for each of these guys to show who they are, and it will even get better as we start getting into pads, and then the next step, playing preseason games, preparing for opponents and all that.
Man. So
right now he's 2 days on, 2 days off, right? For Brock, that's what they're doing.
3 days on, 1 day off.
3 days, okay, because I heard Kyle yesterday saying 2 days, or the other day, 2 days on, 2 days off. So, listen, they're being careful with him. They're being cautious. I get it. But at the same time, I need my guy Trey Lance and Sam Darnold. If they're going to play some games, which we all expect them to play sometime this year, whether it's Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, one of them's going to be the backup. I need them getting some first team reps too.
Yeah.
All right, like that.
Well,
That's
this is a good point. Before we go to the line here, I want to read this from Derek Connors. Trey Lance hasn't played football since September. Brock Purdy in January. But nobody talks about the rust factor that Trey Lance may have.
That's the thing.
Is it because of OTAs and minicamp? Because he got to throw? Well, it's different with equipment. It's different when live bullets are flying at you.
It's because we forgot about it. Like that's just that's the rat on the table. Brought to you by Atco.
Atco Pest Control.
Pest of the month. What is it this time? Is it a mosquito? I hate those things. But no, that's the thing. It's out of sight, out of mind, Bonte. That's what it is in sports. We forget about you if you're not on the field.
No doubt.
It's the sad truth. Like if you're not contributing, we're going to forget about you. And you know what?
So
here's this pretty thing in Brock Purdy, who's winning all these games, Mr. Irrelevant. Nice story. We're going to pay attention to him. Brock or Trey, you're yesterday's news, man.
So 408, the show needs a Sam Darnold appreciation segment. That's from the Xfinity Mobile text line. You'll thank me later when he saves the season. Don't see Purdy being ready as soon as people anticipated. That's Sports Stradamus. We're going to go to Carolina tomorrow and talk to somebody from Carolina about Sam Darnold, what they saw from him at the end of the season that had people saying, you know what? Maybe there is something there with Sam Darnold. Let's go to Mole in Michigan. Mole in Michigan, what's happening?
Hey, Bonte, how you been, brother?
Good, Mole. How you doing, man? Say hi to Spadoni, by the way.
I'm good. Up? Hey, Spadoni, how are you, sir?
How's
it
going?
man?
How you said that.
Good. Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. If you give me a minute, I just want to ask you guys what you think of Trey Lance in this perspective. I do think the kid has never gotten a fair crack. I really do feel that. I feel there's so much potential, but what I've seen on film for me personally, and I could be wrong, and I wanted what your thoughts are, I don't see him as an elite runner. The film that I've seen and the games I've seen him in, his escapability is just average at best to me. He's not that elite guy like a Hurts or what we thought we were getting, at least of what I thought was hyped. And when we drafted him, like this guy was going to be, Superman Michael Vick. Mm-hmm. And having said that, I just don't see that with him. I think this is Brock Purdy's team. I think this situation reminds me of when Kyle Shanahan was in Washington when they drafted RG3 and they drafted Kirk Cousins in the same draft. And it turned out Kirk Cousins was the leader of that team after RG3 caught no breaks, got injured, and he took over that team. And I feel this is the same situation. I think Purdy's going to fit Kyle Shanahan's system better. He already shown it. My only worry is how many quarterbacks in the NFL played great for 6 games, 8 games, 10 games, and then the following year fell on their face. So we do need to keep both quarterbacks on the roster. Purdy still has to prove himself. I know they had a good season, but it's not enough for me. So I just wanted your guys' thoughts. I know that's a lot.
No.
Thanks,
so that's why I'm cool with keeping all 3 quarterbacks. I got no problem keeping Trey, Darnold, and Brock Purdy, especially with the way they got wrecked last year. Now, the speed of Trey Lance, I think they saw a guy who had the ability to escape pressure and the ability to move out of the pocket when the play breaks down. He looked to me like, okay, he's a runner, but he also can play from the pocket and prefers to play from the pocket. Yes. He's a little hesitant to run. He runs what he needs to. In terms of Lamar Jackson, I never saw Lamar Jackson on tape. Never saw that flash.
No.
So if they thought they were getting Lamar Jackson, then somebody in the scouting department, or either that, somebody needs to get fired in the scouting department, or 2, that's an organizational blunder because of all the time they had to spend to go scout Trey Lance. They went back and forth. Remember we had the head coach on from North Dakota State? I forget his name, but Trey Lance's coach. I said, when did you get an inkling that the Niners were interested? He goes, well, they just kept showing up and showing up and showing up and asking questions. Matt Ends. And so that's on the Niners for making this blunder. You don't get a pass. If this is not your guy, you find out 2 years later, oh, my God, this is not the guy we wanted. That's on the entire organization for making a mistake. Now, Mike Silver also mentioned that, maybe the noise got to Shanahan about drafting Mac Jones. Well, what noise? Because from what I heard, most of the organization wanted Mac Jones.
Yeah.
What pressure did Shanahan succumb to? The fans? Guys like me, Shasky, and you?
Yeah.
What did he succumb to?
And you can't succumb to that. If that's
not
happening,
with the number 3 overall pick.
It's a fireable offense if that comes out later on. It's like, really? You're letting the outside noise affect you? Like, come on. That's like Mike and the Mad Dog kind of stuff happened back in New York City.
It's not good.
No.
It's not good at all.
And Shanahan, from what we've all seen from him and heard from him, he doesn't seem like the outside noise affects him too much. Although, I'll say this. He's getting a little more snippy with the media in years past.
Who?
Kyle Shanahan.
Well, he's been like that.
Well, no, I'm saying like
2021. He told us we're all hard-headed.
We were playing with it. Eric Branch having legitimate questions regarding the quarterback position, as if these questions are beneath him. Yeah, do you have it? Please play this.
In your first 4 practices, Brandon Allen has 37 snaps. Fair amount for a number 4 quarterback. You've got Darnold learning a new system, and you and John have said a lot. Trey needs as much snaps as he can get because he hasn't played a lot of football. So why are so many snaps going to your number 4 quarterback?
2 of the days he's the number 3 quarterback.
Right, but I think just overall we'd agree 37 snaps is a decent amount for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you think that is?
Like
based on your previous training camps.
Yeah, well, he earned them in OTAs. He did a good job in OTAs, and like today he was the 3rd quarterback, so he got all the 3 reps. 2 of these 4 practices, which is a good amount. The other guy's been splitting the 1 and 2s, and it'll bump down though when we have 4 out there more.
So look, I love Shanahan, but he's the same guy who called us hard-headed in 2021 when we asked who the starting quarterback was.
It was very reminiscent of you coaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly
Disrespect.
what it is.
That's what it is. He acts like we're all beneath him and stuff, and I get it. We're not the football geniuses like this guy is, but at the same time, dude, you gave up 3 first-rounders for Trey Lance. Yes, it's crazy that a 6th-round pick who's 30 years old and Brandon Allen that no one gives a rip about is getting as many snaps as this guy. Yes, Kyle, we're calling you out on that. He earned it in OTAs. Miss me with that. Earned it in OTAs.
OTAs.
No pads.
OTAs.
Please.
Spring football.
Come on.
Unbelievable. Austin in the Bay. What's happening, Austin?
Not much. Just listen to you guys. Hey, I want to say this. If Brock Purdy getting these 2 days on, 2 days off, why is not Trey Lance talking about fair chance? He just came off an injury. Shouldn't he be getting these 2 days on, 2 days off? They both coming off of significant injuries. You need your ankles. You need your arms to play this game. And they're throwing without pads. Now they're throwing with pads. So I'm intrigued to see this preseason. Should all these quarterbacks play in the preseason to knock off this rust to see if they actually ready for the first game? Because we don't want to struggle the first 4 games. 1 game go by, lose, lost, 2nd, lost, 3rd game.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to see no losses early in the season. I don't.
Yeah, no doubt.
Quarterback should play. Huh?
Nah, I'm with you. They got to get off to a fast start. That's the crazy part about this. It's the complexity of this situation. You have to get off to a fast start this year. It's cost your home field advantage. Let's go to our boy SF Bay Drummer in Houston. SF Bay Drummer, H-Town, what's happening?
Bonte, Spadoni, what's good, yo?
What's good, man?
Man, I'm happy to see Trey Lance back in these days. You know, that's just, with anybody who's backed up against the wall, you got to see how they respond and show up to fire. But my main issue is, like, I've been on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and I've been seeing the nasty, flip-flop coverage, like how, like, it's all sympathy for Brock Purdy, but Trey Lance, it's just like, well, this is what he's supposed to do, or he's just complete and utter trash, and this, the furthest thing from the truth, because there's no context. But, my main issue is, why is nobody putting pressure on the 49ers and Jed York? Because, Bonte, yourself, you can look around and see all the credentialed media members in the Warriors, but then you look at the Niners, I see a lot of the same people. Like, we need more African-American people covering the 49ers so the true story can be told. They have to do more than just fly the Black Lives Matter flag at Levi's and actually be about it. This is the thing that everybody's talking about it, but nobody's applying that pressure. But I thank you, Bonte, because you upholding the responsibility. You got to keep everything in check, and you got to tell it how it is. And, everybody's going to be just following, just be sheep and just follow, like, everything that's being said by this biased media. You can't do that. You got to have the whole story. Everybody wants the real news. Everybody, has a Jones for facts or whatever.
Right.
Well, just look at the facts.
Yeah.
You can't just leave out one thing.
Nah, yeah, there's context to everything. Good call, SF Bay Drummer. More representation. Look, when it comes to minorities in media, we've been fighting for that for many, many years. Many, many years. Representation in those media, like you see a lot with the Warriors. got Marcus Thompson, you got Kawakami, you got Kendra Andrews, you got Madeline Kinney, you got Shayna Rubin, you got Anthony Slater, you got Dalton Johnson, Garrett Burke, mixed crowd. Monty Poole, I can't forget about him. Whitley Sandretto. I mean, you got the who's who. I got a text not too long ago from, I'm not even going to say his name because he was down there at practice covering, and I think he was sitting next to Crocky, Crockpot.
Eric Crocker?
Eric Crocker.
Love that guy.
And he was at practice yesterday, and the guy it's amazing. He said, my 2 cents for what it's worth, not trying to overstep my boundaries here. But he goes, man, we need more representation in that press box. And this guy is Latin. So, I don't look, man, that's a fight that we all fight. You know, we do that here in 95.7 a game.
Yeah.
Whether and I don't, you know, I'm not saying give out sympathy jobs because of or diversity hires just to do them, just to fill a quota or whatnot. You got to be qualified.
Yeah.
You got to do what you're doing. You got to bust your ass out there. But there is something with the feels like we read a lot of the same thing from a lot of the same beat writers.
Yeah.
When on that Niners beat. And the representation, maybe you could have a little more. Maybe you could have a little more in that media.
It's important. Like, not just for that, but just to see your peers and see like that. Like, listen, I'm raising my son right now. It's important for him to be part of a diverse class. I believe that. And I'm very happy that he's growing up in Oakland. I grew up in a place, Ponte, Pacific Grove, California. John's there. Not a lot of color.
Yeah.
Just not. Like it was a big culture shock for me moving up here back in 2013, 14 in the Bay Area. Like the diversity, I think, is what makes this area so much more better, so much more fun to live around because of all the melting pot, if you will. I believe this is the perfect representation of what this country could be here in the Bay Area. And it just sucks that it's not represented in the media as well.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. By the way, 650, Xfinity Mobile Texting. You're right. How can we forget about our guy, Jason Dumas?
Oh, come on.
Who's at the big fight. He was at the fight where Terrence Crawford beat the dog.
Oh, he smacked him.
You know what? Out of Errol Spence Jr. Yeah, that was nasty.
I saw Kellerman tweet. He's not with ESPN anymore, so Max Kellerman's unfiltered now. Big boxing guy, obviously.
Is he unfiltered?
I think so, because he just tweeted Crawford beat the S out of him, and that's all he said.
Damn.
I was like, he wasn't allowed to do that with ESPN.
No, he wasn't.
Well, S talking there from Max Kellerman.
That
I love Max Kellerman on boxing.
650, Xfinity Mobile Text line. Trey and Sam were both third overall picks. Is Trey going to get as many chances as Sam has gotten? Sam Darnold's now on his third team. Now, you could make the case for Sam Darnold, and I don't want to do this, but Jim Plunkett once was a Sam Darnold type.
Number 1 overall pick, New England Patriots.
Didn't work out with the Patriots.
Heisman, Stanford.
Yep. Niners.
Didn't work out there.
Goes to the Raiders, wins a couple Super Bowls.
He does. Backed up a couple years. Darryl LaMonica.
Exactly.
Yep.
So Steve Young obviously struggled in Tampa Bay. Bill Walsh got his hands on him. The rest is history. Maybe this is the best landing spot for Sam Darnold. I don't want to write him off because he does have arm talent. When you watch him out there at practice, it's like, wow, he makes some throws. You're like, damn.
Sorry, I said LaMonica. Pastorini.
Pastorini.
Broke his leg. The rest was history.
So maybe there is a case that Sam Darnold is in the right spot because Carolina, nobody believed. That's why I'm eager to hear what Sam Darnold did in Carolina because we weren't watching a lot of Carolina Panther football.
We saw a lot of Jets because they were just the Jets.
Right.
They shoved them down our throats even though they've been garbage for the last 10 years, haven't even made the playoffs. I think they have the longest drought right now since 10 years. Now they're hoping that changes with Aaron Rodgers. But, Sam Darnold, everyone just remembers the seeing ghosts thing. I mean, whether that's fair or not, that's just what our image is of him. The guy was getting punch drunk back there with Adam Gase and co. You don't really have much to throw to or much to work with. But at the same time, you got guys like Brian Baldinger who knows a thing or two about football saying, listen, this guy's got all the tools, all the skills. If Kyle Shanahan gets his hands on him, I'm interested to see what he's going to go through. So we'll see there. I trust guys like Brian Baldinger. They know their stuff. But at the same time, it's hard to get past seeing ghosts.